Salvete omnes, and welcome to Caesar's Gallic Wars, Book 5, Section 39. When last we left Caesar, Ambiorix was gathering his allies to follow up on the great victory that he was having against the Romans. And in this section, the Gauls are going to attack the camp of Quintus Cicero, who is the brother of the famous orator Marcus Tullius Cicero. And let us begin. Itaque confestim demisis nuntius ad cutrones, grudios levacos plumoxios gaidumnos, qui omnes subeorum impero sunt. And so, itaque, demisis nuntiis, so we start off with an ablative absolute, with the messengers having been sent, confessed immediately to, and then he's going to send messengers to different tribes. This is Ambiorix. He's sending the messengers to the Sutrones, to the Grudii, to the Lawaki, to the Plumoxi, and to the Gaidumni. And he describes who these are, who all are under the imperio, under the rule of them. So who are all under their rule. So he sends these messengers, with the messengers having been sent to these people who are all under their rule. They gather, cogunt. Cogunt can mean to force or compel. In this case, probably gather. They gather quam maximas manus. Quam plus the superlative means as many as possible. So they gather the greatest bands as possible. And de improviso, unexpectedly, they ad volant. Volo here, it's like the word to fly, right? They rush towards the hiberna, remember hibernate, and that translates into winter quarters, to the winter quarters of Cicero. Not yet had the fama here means fame, reputation, report, so we'll say report. Not yet had the report, what did the report of the death of Titurius Sabinus, was it brought to him here meaning Cicero. So not yet, the report of the death of Titurius had not yet been brought to him. So we have eum, the him is Cicero here, and then the death, obviously ablative in the blue, which is dependent here on the word de. Huic, which is our dative, to him, quoque, also, accidit, means it happens. I always think of accidents happen, right? So that makes it a little bit easier to remember. It happened that. So think about that when you hear the word happen, because it could be something that introduces a result clause, which is what we actually have here. To him also, it happened that quad fuit necessa, which was necessary, that nonuli milites, that several soldiers who had discessisent, so the soldiers who, so we're in a little qui clause, who had left or who had gone out into the Silvas, into the woods, causa lignationis munitionisque, for the sake of gathering wood and building materials. And I'll finish this and I'll go back to some of the grammar. So it happened that, because it was necessary, that several soldiers who had gone out into the woods in Silwas for the sake of gathering wood and building materials, were intercepted, were cut off by means of the arrival of the foot soldiers, or of the cavalry, repentino, immediately. So if we go back to this for a minute, accidit is starting off our result clause. We have interciperentur as our verb in the result clause, an imperfect subjunctive. See that infinitive plus the endings make it an imperfect subjunctive. An imperfect subjunctive here. And then just a little reminder here too with this word causa. Causa is a word that can mean for the sake of, and then it is usually after the what it governs, and it actually governs this genitive. We often see this with a gerund or a gerundive, but you can also just see it with nouns in the genitive. Okay, so it happened that they were intercepted by the immediate arrival of the cavalry. His circumventis magna manu eberones nervi aduatuci atque horum omnium socii clientes legionem oppugnare incipiunt. Excuse me. With them having been surrounded, another little ablative absolute, with a great band, they were surrounded by a great band. The eberones, the nervi, the aduatuci, are our nominatives in red, and their allies, all of their allies, the allies of all of them, and clients begin to attack the legion. Okay, so all of these people together begin to attack the legion. Our men quickly concurrent ad arma, our men, so that's the red here, our subject here. Remember, he refers to nostri as our men. Our men quickly run to their arms and climb the rampart. I'm just going to point out here we have a little asyndeton poetic device. The omission of the conjunctions, you would expect to see an et, our men did this and did something else. Caesar here omits the conjunctions, probably to show the immediacy of what they had to do. Our men quickly ran to arms and climbed the vallum, the rampart. Aegre is dies sustenatur. This day is sustained aegre, with difficulty, because ponebat, they put omnem spem, I'm sorry, the enemy, hostes, put omnem spem, all hope in celeritate, in swiftness, celerity, speed, right? And having obtained, so here we have the verb abdepti. This is the participle from the verb adepiscor, which means to reach or to obtain. And having obtained this victoriam, this victory, they were confident that, or they trusted that they themselves, they believed, they trusted that they themselves, a little infinitive here in an indirect statement, that they themselves would be fore. Fore here is my future infinitive. It is an alternate form. It's something you should think about in a level, AP level. You might see this verb fore. That's a very advanced Latin construction of a future infinitive, an alternative form to futurum esse. So you might see fore. They trusted that they themselves would be victors in perpetuum, like in perpetuity, or forever. Okay, so the enemy placed, because the enemy placed omnem spem, all hope. There's our greens. Our greens are accusatives, direct objects, maybe objects of a prep, maybe accusative in an indirect statement. Our men put all of their hope in swiftness. I'm sorry, the enemy put all their hope in swiftness, and having obtained this victory, they were confident that they would be victorious forever. So the Gauls really feel like they are going to defeat the Romans at this point. So as we end this section, we continue on next time, where we will see what happens, how the Romans respond to this attack by the Gauls. Walete.